There are lessons in life you only learn after something breaks. After you lose someone you thought you couldn't live without. After you're betrayed by the one you trusted most. After you've spent years chasing validation, only to find yourself more empty than ever. That's when the truth finally lands. Not as a gentle whisper, but as a heavy silence. The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, didn't write for comfort. They wrote to awaken, to remind us that pain is not the enemy. Expectations are. They didn't promise happiness. They promised clarity. If you were brave enough to face yourself. They didn't say life would be fair. They said life would be short, and you better stop wasting it on things that don't matter. This video is not about motivation. It's not here to make you feel good. It's here to show you what most people realize too late, when time has already passed, and regret starts speaking louder than hope. But if you're here now, if something inside you is starting to crack open, then these 10 Stoic lessons may be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. You can't change the past, but you can choose not to repeat it. Let's begin. Lesson 1. No one owes you anything. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, and the one most people never do. No one owes you love. No one owes you loyalty. No one owes you understanding, attention, or closure. The world does not bend itself to your desires. People are not characters in the story you wrote in your head. They are free to leave, to change, to misunderstand you, even after everything you gave. And that's not injustice. It's life. The Stoics warned us about this over and over. Marcus Aurelius said, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'Today I will meet interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness.' Not to be cynical, but to prepare your spirit. Because when you expect nothing, everything becomes a gift. You can love deeply and still not be entitled to be loved back. You can give your best and still not be praised. You can forgive someone and they might still walk away." The lesson here is not to stop giving. The lesson is to stop expecting. Your peace begins the moment you stop demanding fairness from a world that was never designed to be fair. And your freedom begins when you realize you owe yourself the love, the loyalty, and the closure you've been begging for. No one owes you anything, but you owe yourself the life you keep postponing. And that begins by letting go of the illusion that anyone else is responsible for your healing. Lesson 2. Most pain comes from attachment, not reality. The Stoics didn't fear pain. What they feared was illusion, the false belief that we suffer because of what happens. But it's not the breakup that shatters you. It's the fantasy of forever you were secretly holding. It's not the rejection that ruins you. It's the story you told yourself, that being chosen defines your worth. As Epictetus taught, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. You weren't devastated because they left. You were devastated because you attached your identity to their presence. You didn't just lose a person. You lost who you thought you were with them. Attachment is not love. It is gripping. It is trying to make something last that was never guaranteed. It is resisting impermanence and suffering every time life reminds you that everything changes. The Stoics ask us to see clearly, to love without clinging, to act with intention but release the outcome, To face loss with open hands, not closed fists. You can't stop grief, but you can stop the suffering that comes from arguing with reality. Freedom begins when you stop saying, "This should not have happened," and you start asking, "Now that it has happened, who will I become?" Let go of the image. Let go of the expectation. Let go of the life you imagined, so you can begin to live the one that's actually unfolding. Because most of what's breaking you is not real. It's just your refusal to let go of what never was. Lesson 3. You can't control people, only your response. You can't make them understand you. You can't make them stay. You can't force someone to apologize, to see your worth, or to treat you the way you treat them. And that's not failure. That's freedom. The Stoics taught that control is the root of suffering, not the lack of it, but the illusion that we ever had it. We spend years trying to shape other people's actions, thoughts, and emotions. And when they don't respond the way we hoped, we feel betrayed. But the betrayal isn't theirs. It's ours. We betrayed our own peace by placing it in someone else's hands. As Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." You can't control what they do, but you can choose how you show up. You can choose stillness over reaction, integrity over revenge, letting go over clinging. Every moment offers two doors. One leads to reactivity, emotional chaos, powerlessness. The other leads to restraint, clarity, and quiet power. Choosing your response is not weakness. It's strength that doesn't need to scream. Don't waste your life trying to fix people who don't want to grow. Don't shrink yourself just to earn someone's love. And don't abandon your peace trying to control the uncontrollable. You are not here to change anyone. You are here to master yourself. And when you do, no one can steal your peace again. Lesson 4. Suffering is part of life, not a mistake. We often ask, "Why is this happening to me?" As if pain is a punishment. As if suffering means something went wrong. But the Stoics saw it differently. To them, suffering is not life going off track. It is the track. It is the teacher that humbles you. It is the fire that burns away illusions. It is the silence where your soul learns to listen. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." What if your heartbreak isn't evidence of failure, but the birthplace of deeper truth? What if the loss wasn't the end, but the beginning of your becoming? Suffering strips you down to your essence. It removes the masks you wore to be loved. It tests what parts of you are real, and what was never truly yours. But here's the shift. The Stoics didn't resist pain. They prepared for it. They welcomed it as nature's way of shaping a stronger, wiser soul. The more you run from pain, the more it chases you. But when you face it, when you say, "I will not break, I will learn," pain becomes a portal. It opens the door to resilience, depth, and quiet power. Suffering is not a sign that life is broken. It's a reminder that you are alive, growing, and being forged. Stop asking, "Why me?" Start asking, "What now?" Because pain is not the enemy. It's the passageway to a more awakened you. Lesson 5. Your reputation is not who you are. We spend much of our lives polishing our image, curating how we're seen, protecting our name, defending our story. But here's the Stoic truth. Your reputation is not you. It's just a shadow, shaped by perception, rumor, and other people's projections. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "It's not what they say about you that matters. It's what you do, and why you do it." The world may praise you for what you pretend to be, but you'll go to sleep knowing what you truly are. That's the tension and the liberation. When you attach your worth to reputation, you become fragile. One lie, one rejection, one misunderstanding, and your whole identity cracks. Because your center was never internal, it was outsourced. But the Stoics teach us to build differently, not on applause, but on alignment between thought, word, and action. Let people misunderstand you. Let them gossip, walk away, forget you. That is their path, not yours. You are not the version of you that lives in their mind. You are not the story told in their circles. You are the quiet presence behind all that noise, the one who remains steady when the image falls apart. Protect your character, not your reputation. One belongs to you. The other never did. When you stop chasing appearances, you start finding authenticity, and when your peace no longer depends on being seen, you finally begin to see yourself. Lesson 6. You will lose people you love, and that's okay. No one prepares you for this. That one day, without warning, someone you love will be gone. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, or silently, and your heart will ache for answers. But the truth is, nothing lasts forever. Not people, not relationships, not even the versions of ourselves we were with them. The Stoics knew this, and they lived with it in mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. To love someone deeply is beautiful, but to expect them to stay forever is attachment disguised as love. Everyone in your life is on loan, temporary, fleeting, passing through. And when they go, it doesn't mean the love wasn't real. It means life is real, unpredictable, and always moving. You will lose people you thought were permanent. You will grieve connections that shaped you. But loss does not mean the end of your wholeness. Stoicism teaches us not to cling, but to cherish. Not to possess, but to be present. Say, "I love you," while they can hear it. Hold their hand while it's still warm. But never believe that someone's presence is what completes you. Their absence may leave a silence, but within that silence, you'll hear your soul learning to stand on its own. Grief is not failure. It's the evidence that you lived, that you cared, that your heart was open. Let that be enough. And let go, gently, not bitterly. Lesson 7. Most people act from ignorance, not evil. You will be hurt by people who never meant to hurt you. You will be blamed by those who never tried to understand you. And sometimes, the deepest wounds won't come from strangers, but from those closest to your heart. But here's what the Stoics understood. Most people are not evil. They are just unaware. They act from unhealed pain, from fear, from blindness to their own patterns. Seneca wrote, "No one becomes wicked all at once." And Epictetus added, "When someone does wrong, it is because they are mistaken about what is good." That doesn't excuse the damage, but it explains the confusion. When someone lashes out, manipulates, lies, or abandons, They're often acting from a place they haven't even explored in themselves. You're not responsible for their behavior, but you are responsible for your reaction. You can choose resentment, or understanding, bitterness, or boundaries. Stoicism teaches us to respond with clarity, not vengeance. To see the wounded child behind the cruel voice, to recognize, this is not about me. This is their unexamined suffering playing out. You don't have to keep toxic people in your life, but you also don't need to carry their poison in your heart. Let go of the story that they meant to destroy you, and step into the truth. You survived, not because they were kind, but because you chose wisdom over hate. That's the Stoic path. Not cold, not passive, just deeply awake. And finally, free. Lesson 8. Discipline is freedom. We often think freedom means doing whatever we want. Sleeping in, skipping the hard things, saying yes to every impulse. But that's not freedom. That's slavery in disguise. Slavery to moods, to comfort, to emotion, to the lazy voice inside you that whispers, "Not today." The Stoics taught that true freedom comes through discipline, because only when you rule yourself are you free from being ruled by everything else. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Discipline is not about punishment. It's about alignment. It's about doing what your higher self knows is right, even when your lower self resists. Every time you choose structure over chaos, you're reclaiming your power. Every time you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to your future. And every time you follow through on what you promised yourself, you build trust with your soul. That's what most people lack. Not motivation, but self-trust. Because deep down they know, I don't do what I say, I will. Discipline rewires that. One small choice at a time. One morning you get up early. One workout you don't skip. One moment you sit in stillness instead of grabbing your phone. And with each act, you're no longer a slave to impulse. You become someone you can rely on. Someone solid. That is real freedom. Not escape, but command. Lesson 9. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Your anger is not evil. Your sadness is not weakness. Your fear is not failure. These emotions are not enemies. They're messengers. They arrive to tell you something needs your attention, but they were never meant to take control of the wheel. The Stoics never said, "Don't feel." They said, "Don't be ruled." As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Feeling is human, but reacting blindly is optional. When anger rises, you can pause and ask, what boundary was crossed? When fear grips you, ask, what story am I believing that may not be true? When sadness lingers, ask, what part of me is longing to be seen? Emotions are like weather. They come, they go. But you are the sky. Still, expansive, unshaken. Most suffering doesn't come from emotion itself. It comes from fighting it, repressing it, or letting it define your next move. The Stoic path is this: feel it fully, name it honestly, respond with wisdom, not impulse. You don't have to shout every time you're angry. You don't have to shut down every time you're sad. You don't have to run every time fear whispers. Let the emotion pass through you. Let the lesson stay. Because you are not your emotions, you are the one who observes, learns, and responds. That is strength. That is mastery. Lesson 10. Death is the final teacher. We avoid thinking about it. We live like we'll have forever. We delay the truth until it's too close to ignore. But death was never meant to be feared. It was meant to be remembered. The Stoics called this memento mori. Remember, you must not to depress you, but to awaken you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." When you remember death, you stop wasting time. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop holding grudges that no longer matter. You forgive more quickly. You love more deeply. You speak more honestly, because you know the moment may never come again. Death is the final teacher, not because it ends life, but because it teaches you how to finally live. The Stoic doesn't fear death. He fears reaching the end and realizing he never truly showed up. He played it safe. He lived for approval. He postponed his soul's calling. But once you accept that everything is temporary, even you begin to live with urgency, clarity, and heart. So ask yourself, if today were your last, would you be proud of how you showed up? Would you leave love behind, or just noise? The lesson is not to be morbid. It's to live with eyes open, to stop sleepwalking through your days. Because death will come. But until it does, you still have time to become fully alive. You've made it to the end of these lessons, but the real journey begins now. Because Stoicism was never meant to be just read. It was meant to be lived, breathed into your choices, tested in your hardest moments, etched into how you show up, especially when no one is watching. Maybe you've learned these lessons the hard way, through heartbreak, through disappointment, through loss, silence, or sleepless nights. If so, that pain was not wasted. It was the fire that revealed who you are without the masks. And if you're still learning, still stumbling, that's okay. Wisdom doesn't arrive all at once. It comes quietly, in fragments, in the pause before a reaction, in the decision to stay calm, in the whisper that says, choose peace, not proof. The truth is, no one can walk this path for you. Not Marcus, not Seneca, not even your closest friend. But if you take these lessons seriously, if you live like your life is not a rehearsal, you will begin to feel something rare, inner stillness. Not the kind that depends on outcomes, but the kind that survives even the storm. And that stillness is not weakness. It's what makes you untouchable. So go now. Live intentionally. Let go freely. Love deeply, without clinging. And when the noise rises again, return to this. You can't control the world, but you can control how beautifully you respond to it. If even one of these lessons touched something deep inside you, don't let it fade. Let it take root. Let it shape the way you speak, forgive, set boundaries, and return to yourself. I'd love to know which Stoic lesson resonated with you the most. Leave a comment below and share what stayed with you. Sometimes, writing it down is how it finally becomes real. And if this video helped you see your life more clearly, please consider subscribing. Not for numbers, but so this space can grow into a community of people who are learning to live wisely Love deeply and let go gracefully. You never know who might need to hear this next. So share it with a friend, a family member, or someone who's quietly struggling. Thank you for being here, for choosing the path of clarity, for becoming a little more untouchable from the inside out. We'll meet again, in stillness, in strength, and in truth.